Coach.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm great.
Special time of year.
It really is. It's the most fun time. You get to all the pay value for all the months of work.
As a coach, I mean, a lot of the players said that kind of, business as usual. It's just
Yeah.
another race, but it is nationals. It's for all the marbles. Do you, as a coach, look at it that way, or do you change your schemes because?
It's not just another race, but when we talk to them, that's the way we approach it. I got one of my best friends is one of the preeminent sports psychologists in America, Rick McGuire. He's retired from coaching. He's a professor in sports psychology at Missouri. And he talks to the Olympic teams every 4 years. And he says, there's no such thing as a big meet. Really? I don't know if I believe that. This is a big meet. It's a big meet.
The Eugene and the track complex they have up there, for those of us who haven't seen it, does it live up to all the hype that surrounds it?
More. Because every when you're in the hotel lobby, every restaurant you go in, people come up to you and they know who the kids are. They'll know who Hannah is and Zach. And it's just the community treats, track like they treat their football team, the Ducks. They make a big thing out of it. The community really gets behind it. The stands will be packed. Newspaper will have 4 or 5 pages of track stories every day. It's just amazing. It's an amazing atmosphere for a kid to experience. So, in addition to being in historic Hayward Field, just being in the community the community is just alive about track. Pretty fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
With someone like Hannah, obviously she's been a quality runner for a long time, but this year it's gone to a whole new level.
Amazing.
Do you see that progression?
Couldn't have expected it. The rate of improvement she's shown over a year ago is just amazing. I truly have never seen anything like it. That phenomenal of improvement over one calendar year. And I don't know what to attribute it to. She's certainly clicked with Ryan Cole, our distance coach, her cross country coach. The training program has clicked for her. She's grown up. She's a different individual that I remember walking into my office, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I guess it's 3 years ago now. She's just full of confidence and so on. And I love seeing her smile, which I don't think I saw her smile for her first year here. And now, she's just a bubbly personality. I hope you saw that. And I don't know if everyone appreciates the magnitude of what she did last week in Austin to win that race. She was ranked 37th in the West coming into the race. There were 2 defending NCAA champions in the race. Both happened to be from the Mountain West. Emma Bates from Boise, and I always forget the other one, Val. So she beat 2 reigning NCAA champions. Now they're going to have their crack at her again next week in Eugene, but it was an amazing performance.
As a coach, does that rank among the biggest upsets you've had under you? Or?
I would actually say that was the most surprising performance I've witnessed in 40 plus years of coaching. Yeah, it was that amazing what she did. I think she probably feels confident she can do similar things next week.
How difficult is that transition? She said it was only the second time she'd ever run.
Yeah, it makes it even more amazing.
Yeah, that transition from essentially a mile race to 10,000 meters.
She's very mature. She knows what she has to do to run 10,000 meters because it is, hugely. You have to be really patient to run a 10,000 meters at that level. And you can't get too excited or you'll go out too fast. You'll go out with the leaders. And she went out very patient, ran a really smart, intelligent race, which is what it's going to take next week as well. That was a huge part of it. Here's a young lady who had been running 1,500s and 3,000s and 5,000s, and now she's running double the distance, 25 laps. And it was amazing. In her first 10,000 ever at Drake Relays, she ran the first three 3,000s at the exact same pace to the second. That's pretty amazing. And she ran that kind of, wasn't quite that evenly paced at the NCAA regionals last week, but it was certainly a really smart, intelligent race. And I think that's one of the things that makes her so good is she can run with that patience, doesn't get carried away when she sees the Emma Bates way out ahead of her. She stayed patient, and Emma Bates came back to her.
I don't know if it was you or Coach Cole or what. I mean, what did you guys see in her, or feel, or whatever? What was it that stuck out that made you think, let's make this move, let's see what happens? What made you think that she could?
It was Ryan's decision with her. We don't make anybody run a race that they're not ready to run or don't feel like. If she would have said, "No, I don't want to run a 10K," she'd have been fine because she's still going to score a lot of points for us in the 5,000. But together they said, "Let's try this," And she tried it back in April, and then the week before conference, we were debating what to do with Hannah at the Mountain West Conference meet in San Diego. And we felt like she could probably score better in the 5, and then she would still have something left 2 weeks later. Because at 10, it takes you quite a while to recover from it, a couple weeks to really perform at a high level. And so we ran her in just the 5 at conference. I think she was 4th. And ran a good race, but she was running against some really top-notch competition, and so it was unexpected. But her and Coach Cole got together and said, "Yeah, she can do this." She wanted to do it, so you got to want to run a 10,000. By the way, you can't let the coach throw you in the 100 in the starting blocks or in the long jump. You got to really want to run the 10,000. Yeah. I was a wannabe decathlete. I never ran further than 4 laps.
After she ran it, though, or after she had started practicing for it, we're talking 35 minutes of straight running and all that lactic acid building up. Did you ask her, what did she say it felt like kind of coming down from that?
The amazing thing is she had so much energy after the race. I thought she could have gone and run a couple more laps. Her mother was in the front row in the stadium. Her mother had flown out to Austin, and that was pretty cool. Her mother was quite excited, obviously. But I think the exhilaration, all the emotion, she was just so excited that I think she could have run further. It wasn't like, "Oh, I'm exhausted. I can't do this again. Do I really have to do it again in 2 weeks in Eugene?" It wasn't like that at all.
Kind of switching gears, you guys have had some pretty good success as a pole vault team with your men in particular. What is it about? Do you have a special training regimen that you just keep popping up nationally?
We have a long tradition. It actually goes way back into the mid-'90s in terms of if you look at our all-time list and the number of 18-footers that we've had. And the tradition keeps building on itself. Just like a great football school that turns out quarterbacks or turns out linebackers. The tradition just keeps building on itself. And that's what's happened. And under Scotty Steffen, our vault coach, is his guidance and leadership. Yeah, they got a tremendous workout program, and he knows all the right adjustments to make in their grip and the right pole that they're on. He's one of the best in the country, really, at that piece of it. And, it was disappointing. Joey Yulee, less than 48 hours after graduation, he just didn't have the energy and kind of let himself down. We weren't disappointed in him. We know what he'd been through all week because he did get to go to graduation. And I think he was just worn out from everything, more emotionally maybe than physically. And then Dylan steps up in his absence and in the competition had 2 third attempt clearances, which were just clutch jumps, or he'd have been staying home this week. And so, yeah, Dylan's keeping on the tradition that we have it's pretty exciting to go back there kind of on an annual basis and have some pole vaulters in that competition.
And then with Zach Perkins.
Yes.
He was second 2 years ago.
Yep.
And then
He had an injury-riddled year last year. It was one little nagging thing after another and really never got untracked. He won the conference indoors in the 800, and outdoors we ran him in the conference meet, and in Laramie, and he just couldn't put it together, and so I didn't even make it to the first round prelims of the NCAA. But he's been persistent. He's been just driven to get back to the NCAAs to show that his sophomore year was not a fluke. And we saw some glimpses of it earlier this season, back at Mount Sac Relays in April and Drake Relays, running a relay leg. And so we saw glimpses that, hey, this is the guy that we saw as the NCAA runner-up his sophomore year. And we saw that again this last week in Austin. He kind of let the New Mexico guy, Callahan, take the win in his quarterfinal heat. But I think he's going to be in the top 8. I think he's going to be in the final. I think he's going to score. Will the race develop to allow him to do what he did 2 years ago? We don't know, how the race is going to go, but he is fully capable right now, and he's excited, and he's driven, and he's motivated.
What are his times now, or his best times this year?
Yeah, his best time as a sophomore was 3:41. Last year never broke 3:46. And this year, last week, he ran 3:42 in Austin. So usually you figure 17 seconds is the conversion between 1,500 and a mile at somebody that's running at that level. And so that's a 3:59 mile that he ran in a qualifying race last Saturday night. And it's going to take that probably just to make the final. He'll run next Wednesday afternoon in Eugene. It'll probably take the equivalent of a sub 4-minute mile to make the final. I mean, it's amazing how many 4-minute milers, 3:42 or better 1,500-meter runners there are in the NCAA right now. Quite a few of them right from our conference, by the way.
This may seem simple, but just having the Air Force Blue out there at a national event, in terms of recruiting for you guys, this is better than free advertising.
It really is. It's huge. And the impact of when he was the runner-up 2 years ago certainly impacted our recruiting. In general, I don't think you can pinpoint and say that's why this kid came or whatever, but it's just the atmosphere that surrounds the program. That's the level that we're striving for in our program, is to get to the NCAA championship finals in Eugene. And so, kids notice that. And right now we're busy getting after high school juniors. And Ryan just sent out an email and said, hey, look what Zach Perkins did this last week. And so we're hoping, kids get excited about that, and I'd certainly love to see that blue singlet and blue shorts come across that finish line again like he did a couple years ago. He wants to win the thing. I trust he's probably said that to you guys.
Do you think there's a mental advantage to him just knowing he's been in the top 2 at this level before?
Yeah, there is. And the other thing is he's run a lot of come from behind. He also knows how to run a patient race, and maybe that's not quite as important in the 1,500. But he has loads of confidence in his kick from 300 meters on in. And if he's in position with 300 meters on in, look out. I mean, he's got that level of confidence, and he's done it both, in 2013 in Eugene, and he's done it several times this season in relays and in individual races. So, he's confident that he can run with anybody from 300 on in.
Is it at this time to be able to work with the athletes and then give them the proper recovery? Nobody's waking up.
Oh, it's so nice. It's so nice that and actually what we did. So Zach is actually already started his graduation leave. Dylan is working camp. So they got him getting beds ready and doing a few things like that. But he comes down here pretty refreshed for a workout. It's. That's why we have high expectations of them for next week too. Our conference meet, we ran the conference meet same week as finals, and the NCAA prelims a week ago, same week as graduation week. And you say, well, Dylan's just a junior, it doesn't matter. No, they got parades and they got assemblies and award ceremonies to sit through, get dressed in their parade dress and things like that. So it takes a lot out of the underclassmen as well.